Alright guys, welcome to the live. If you're new, my name is Randall. This is the McClures. We react, review, we make fun of, we laugh at stuff. Links are in the description if you want to help support. Make sure you click the links to follow on locals. Make sure you click like on the actual live if you're tuning in. That also helps bump us up in the algorithms or whatnot. And the sponsor is shopmcclures.com. Sell quality American products. If you want to help support the country, shopmcclures.com. Links are also in the description for the website. All right, we're going to check out a new video today. History X? Is that what it was called? I don't know. We'll get that at the end of the video. But this is the world's greatest historical cover-ups. Interesting stuff. We've kind of been talking about some conspiracy theory type stuff on the stream today, so this is kind of in line with what we've been doing. All right, if you knew you murdered someone in a previous life, you would be sad all your life and screw up your reincarnation. Would you? I don't know. I think if I was reincarnated and I knew that I was reincarnated because my last life I killed somebody, I think it would be much easier not to kill somebody in this life. Although I don't find it that difficult not to kill people. So maybe this is an issue for some. Yeah. All right, world's greatest historical cover-ups. Let's get into it. Let's see what they're talking about. Mystery history.
There are many theories attempting to explain the origins of the Great Sphinx, and indeed its original purpose. We have, in the past...
You know, I heard something recently that kind of rings true about the Sphinx, so... Can you see how small the head is compared to like the body, or how big the feet are? You know, you see the feet, how they look like paws, obviously not feet like of a person. What I heard was the Sphinx's original head was was probably like a dog's head. The original civilization that built it, they built it as a dog's head. That's why it has dog paws. And that the Egyptians, or a later civilization, carved the dog head into the Sphinx-looking thing that we see today to more resemble the Egyptian pharaohs in their headdress. Interesting theory, though. Definitely interesting theory.
Cover the compelling theories regarding an ancient celestial alignment to the Great Sphinx. Most popular among these alternative theories concerning the star constellation Leo. However, this theory is not only based upon events which happened over 2 precessions ago, but is also reliant upon the Great Sphinx actually once being that of an enormous lion. And although lions are mentioned in countless religious texts, ancient and also modern, with these beasts attributed to good deeds or evil, there actually exists another, and we feel more compelling theory regarding the Sphinx's true identity, purpose, and indeed its age. Since its rediscovery among the sands of Egypt, the Sphinx has been attributed to that of a guardian, long said to have protected the dead, and interestingly, this explanation may turn out to have been spot on. The Sphinx, although now possessing a human head, its form is noticeably out of proportion. If one indeed perceives it as a past guardian of the dead, and the underworld in which they dwell, then the Sphinx would have been in fact a dog, or more specifically, Anubis. Additionally, if the Sphinx did once indeed face a star in our night skies, then logically...
That's kind of funny that I brought that up, and then this happens to be the video that discusses it. And the thing that I seen, I think it was just a short deal on Instagram or something.
There would only be one of 2 stars in which the dog would face, both held in high regard for untold millennia, one of which, of course, being Sirius, the other known as the little dog star Procyon. Interestingly, the star
That's interesting. So if you're tuning into this in a video, it won't make sense. If you're on the live, it will. Previously, we were discussing reincarnation. And Centrist in the chat is saying the more you dig into the ancient civilizations, they all believed in reincarnation as well. And I think that is true. I think that is
star
true.
Sirius is held in high regard by many ancient cultures. Some
Those fake ads really drive you mad, huh? The game looks so fun in the
I love
ads,
the
but when you
fake ads.
download it,
my
which
favorite.
insist that we were once visited by gods, locating from this particular star constellation. And with ancient Egyptian art drenched in mysterious beings, all attributed as gods who came from the heavens, it could be postulated that the Sphinx was guarding the entrance to what they perceived as the underworld, or the realm in which the gods came from. What supports this theory and the possible concealment of this knowledge is the apparent destruction, and now absence, of any identifiable dog-like sphinxes left anywhere on Earth. Anthony West once brought the water controversy theory into the public domain, a theory he has done extremely well from. This evidence has long been used as a form of evidence that the Sphinx is much older than currently claimed, and due to the absence of this erosion on the Great Pyramids, also used it to claim it is much older. Additionally, he has also been a verbal advocate for the belief that the Sphinx was a lion. Worrying, however, regarding his motives, if this were indeed the case, then any compelling connections with the function of the Sphinx, the entrance beneath, and the pyramids, each made to specific sizes in relation to the distance of Orion stars, would be merely impossible to make. However, and what is most concerning, is that with a little research of ancient texts, it soon becomes apparent that the Sphinx was once surrounded by a body of water, conveniently named the Lake of the Jackal, or Anubis Lake. This aptly named body of water has seemingly been covered up, not only by West, but to attempt to conceal the Sphinx's real age, but also its true identity. This fragment of information not only discredits West's profitable rainfall theory, but also virtually confirms the Sphinx's past identity, and with Anubis being named elsewhere as the guardian of the underworld, it becomes apparent that we are on the brink of an explanation for its original purpose, no matter how astonishing. As one would come to realize, while traversing such fields of research as we do, you will inevitably come face to face with a worthy adversary. That foe, of course, is modern paradigm. Often scoffed at when discussing the possible existence of a highly trained, highly secret group of worldwide individuals who are tasked with the protection of a profitable lie. Often labeled a conspiracy theorist due to the vast array of missing evidence and stolen relics. Yet, alas, regardless of this, we feel it is our duty to vindicate all those who have suffered for doing nothing more than tell the truth. Many thanks to Will Hart over at Nexus Magazine in Spain for his exhaustive research. Let's start with a familiar friend, the Great Sphinx. In 1993, NBC aired a show titled The Mysteries of the Sphinx. During the show, geological evidence was shown which indicated that the Sphinx was vastly older than Egyptologists currently claim. This evidence has subsequently become popularly known as the water erosion controversy. The self-taught Egyptologist John Anthony West first brought the evidence to the attention of geologist Dr. Robert Schoch. Now, after thoroughly studying the Sphinx firsthand, numerous geologists share West's conclusions, and many have announced their findings to the world. Dr. Zawi Hawass, along with the Egyptian Antiquities, have launched a barrage of public criticism at this new evidence. Renowned Egyptologist Dr. Mark Lehner, who is regarded as the world's foremost expert on the Sphinx, also joined this attack, publicly declaring West and Schoch as ignorant and insensitive. The smear campaign was ultimately a success and squashed any further exploration of the theory. This, regardless of the overwhelming evidence supporting their claims. And this intellectual mudslinging is unfortunately quite common. The case of author Michael Cremo could be seen as a well-documented example of this, and it also exposes
That's definitely a major problem with scientific advancement, especially if we're talking about something that's been the quote-unquote standard in science for a long time. When somebody new comes out and just basically unearths everything that everybody was thinking previously, it's really an uphill battle. It's really an uphill battle, especially in today's more political climate. Um, because, yeah, you'd be a great scientist, or maybe even like this guy, self-taught scientist. You come up with a great discovery. You go to the people who have been studying this their whole lives and have obviously missed it, and you go, hey, did you guys see this? You didn't notice this. Will you look at it? And they go, oh, you're just a dumb motherfucker, and they kick you to the curb. Don't let any of your research get out. They don't allow you to get any grants or studies. They blackball you, and you're out of the industry. All because they didn't want to publicly admit that they may have been wrong about something. And that's the worst part about science, and how science is manipulated in today's age.
just how the
Or probably not even today's age, but how it's always been manipulated.
scientific establishment openly uses pressure tactics on the media and government to stifle historical truths. In Michael's book, Forbidden Archaeology, he examines many artifacts that prove modern man's antiquity far exceeds the age currently accepted by academia. In 1996, when NBC broadcasted a special program called The Mysterious Origins of Man, they covered material from Cremo's book. The reaction from the scientific community could be seen as verging on ridiculous. NBC was deluged with letters from furious scientists and others within certain fields, who all called the producer a fraud and the whole program a hoax.
Correct. Yeah, Egypt does block a lot of research and a lot of studies of the actual pyramids. We're not exactly sure why. It might be because they know in their records what the pyramids were actually used for. Maybe they have some link to whatever ancient technology. But the thoughts, the theories that the pyramids were used to potentially provide the entire world with power, wireless power, like Nikola Tesla first patented back in the day. Supposedly he created a way to distribute power throughout the atmosphere that anybody could just grab into and pull some of that power down and use it. So there are theories that the pyramids are either a local power source, for the city of Egypt, or potentially a more global power source that link up with the other pyramids that are around the world to kind of create like a Wi-Fi network of wireless energy these other civilizations were utilizing. But yeah, because they definitely block a lot of research in Egypt. And why more researchers aren't doing more studies on the pyramids everywhere else in countries that would probably be more apt to letting them do the research, I'm not sure. Unfortunately, the United States doesn't have any... Oh, excuse me. Unfortunately, the United States doesn't have any pyramids, or we'd be studying the crap out of those. For sure. Which is why I don't believe that... I don't believe the world is quite as old as they think it is. Because all these civilizations, how they line up, is based on what we know of the ice ages in North America being covered in ice, which is why they didn't build pyramids here, because it was frozen. But I don't think this is, you know, a million years ago. Oh, excuse me, or 100,000 years ago, or 10,000 years, or anything like that. Um, lately, more and more, I believe in the young Earth theory. The young Earth theory. So the whole carbon dating and all that shit, I think is bullshit, because they're basically dating materials based on the amount of carbon and then retroactively placing that on the timeline of when they think carbon levels were a certain height. But it just doesn't make any sense. You know, the same people that say the ability to get a fossil is so rare and amazing, all these correct instances have to occur in order for a fossil to even be discoverable later. It just doesn't make sense that that happened that often unless there was, excuse me, some type of global catastrophe that, you know, killed all these animals at the same time. Like there's fossils of fish giving birth to fish in the fossil. How did that happen? Hinduism and Buddhism are the reincarnate people.
Even attempting to force NBC to not rebroadcast the popular program ever again. They went to the tremendous effort of presenting a case to the federal government, requesting that the Federal Communications Commission step in and bar NBC from airing the program again. This was not only an apparent infringement of free speech and a blatant attempt to thwart commerce, but up to that point, it was an unprecedented effort to censor intellectual discourse. Dr. Virginia Steen McIntyre would also feel the cold hands of conspiracy. A geologist working for the U.S. Geological Survey, she was dispatched to an archaeological site in Mexico with the task of dating a group of artifacts. This particular case, again, perfectly illustrates just how far this elusive establishment is willing to go to guard orthodox tenets. McIntyre used state-of-the-art equipment to date the relics, but her results were off the charts. The lead archaeologist expected a date of 25,000 years or less, yet she found dates of 250,000 years or more on multiple occasions. A dating of 25,000 years is conveniently critical to the Bering Strait crossing theory. Once her results were realized, the head archaeologist decided to dispose of Steen McIntyre's results. She has since found it hard to get her papers published, and she has also lost a teaching job at an American university. These sorts of scenarios from these particular types of people is what drives us to expose the truth. No one should lose their career.
Oh, some science that you did goes against the narrative of the science that everybody else did? Your science is definitely wrong. Let's get back to the narrative. Let's get back to the narrative.
Because they are doing it correctly. Unfortunately, however, unless there is a dramatic shift within our own society, stories such as these are likely to continue.
Peekaboo, Paul Stamets here. Welcome to the enchanted forest of Host Defense. Here, hidden among the trees, lies a world of wonder and mystery and mycelium. The forest is where Host Defense mushrooms were.
We recently shared the astonishing discovery of a colossal ancient pyramid, Cholula. Not only the largest ancient pyramid believed to have ever been found on Earth, but also the biggest ancient structure ever found, just like that of the Bosnian pyramid, long assumed a mound of peculiar shape. This truly huge structure was buried under often meters of fertile earth. Some claim it was buried to conceal it from invaders, such as David Carballo, an archaeologist at Boston University, who explained to BBC Future, quote, "It was abandoned sometime in the 7th or 8th century CE. The Choluteca had a newer pyramid temple located nearby, which the Spaniards destroyed." End quote. While geologists argue that over the centuries, or indeed millennia it has stood, the mud bricks its exterior was created from have fertilized and naturally grown over this huge structure, Earth which still hides much of its stature from the world to this day. Yet this makes the discovery no less of interest. If anything, it makes it all the more intriguing. Why not fully excavate the site? Are there things being hidden there? What was the purpose of such an astonishing building being made? Was it as a tribute to a deity? Or are we looking at an enormous tomb? Like the claims that circle Giza's three great structures year upon year, are their treasures still buried beneath, just waiting to be found? Interestingly, there does indeed exist an underworld labyrinth beneath this great site. An entire town-sized maze of ancient tunnels, littered beneath the site, again a feature akin to Giza.
Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Chat says there's catastrophes every certain thousands of years or so. Reckons it has to do with the Earth shifting axis. They found ancient buildings in the Arctic. Ancient buildings in the Arctic would be interesting to check out. But catastrophes affecting the world definitely might be true. There's definitely proof that maybe humans had to live underground for a certain amount of time. There are quite a few underground civilizations that they found. But like cities that would be big enough to hold hundreds of thousands of people, all built underground. So, yeah, let's say they had a decade of fucking meteors falling from the sky. Or, on a regular occurrence, meteors falling from the sky. So, they built their stuff underground so you don't have to rebuild it. Who knows? But how little we actually know is very interesting. It's definitely very interesting how little we actually know.
Yet any mention of sarcophagi, treasures, tombs, or any other interesting discoveries, local archaeologists remain curiously silent, regardless of this structure's clear past importance. According to Geophys, the adobe brick pyramid stands 55 meters or 180 feet above the surrounding plain, far shorter than the 137 meters or 449 feet of the Great Pyramid Cheops in Giza, but also much wider, measuring 450 by 450 meters or 1480 by 1480 feet, versus Cheops at 230 by 230 meters or 750 by 750 feet. Yet we must not forget to mention the astonishing precision present within Giza, seemingly absent this nonetheless gigantic structure, which we find highly compelling.
Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Yeah, I wonder why some of these other countries who have supposedly found megalithic structures that are grown over now, why don't they unearth these? Or, I mean, maybe those countries themselves don't have the money to do it, but you could definitely, put the "we're open for excavations" sign up, and there's plenty of American and other nations that'll fund this stuff.